Good morning, Tottenham fans. It's been a horrible couple of weeks being a Spurs fan. It's been a horrible few matches we've watched, especially the Chelsea game and the Arsenal game, where our XG was almost -20. It was absolutely disgusting and embarrassing, whatever words you want to hear. Now, I've been looking a lot and talking a lot to a lot of Spurs supporters, and I'd say they're probably about 50-50 on whether we should be keeping Frank or not. I will give you my views on that and why people may want Frank out. I'll give you my lineup for the PSG game tomorrow as well, as that's going to be another massive game, maybe another embarrassment coming our way, depending on how we turn up. We definitely need to change the lineup, and I'll give you my lineup later on in this video. Also, a little bit of lightheartedness. I'll show you a video from Michael Mcintyre on why he supports Tottenham. Maybe that will give us a little bit of laughter because we need it, because we are Tottenham fans. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. I'm on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Thank you to everybody that's subscribed to this channel so far. It's really much appreciated. Let's get into this video. Now, a lot of people are talking about Frank out, and maybe some of them are right, maybe they're not. But why are they talking about Frank out? People are saying we want our Spurs back. Now, I understand it. I really can. You know, the performances it's not just the losing that is really affecting us Spurs fans at the moment. It's the way we're losing. It's the not even attacking. It's our XG. I'll show you that in a minute on another clip. It's absolutely dreadful. We need to start focusing on us. And you'll see this on my thumbnail. The thumbnail says we need to focus on us. And the reason why I've said that is because all we seem to be doing is planning to nullify the opposition, but not having a plan of attack ourselves. And it's getting draining to watch. Now, if you think Nuno was bad, if you think Nuno was boring and pragmatic, check this out. Now, this is the expect the unexpected XG for Spurs. And out of the 5 lowest in the Premier League, Spurs have 3 of them. One against Arsenal, which was 0.07 XG, which is absolutely ridiculous. We had 0.12 versus Chelsea, which was our record low at the time, and 0.19 versus Bournemouth. And that's the game I actually went to, and it was absolutely horrific. Can you imagine the 0.07 against Arsenal for the fans watching that? Absolutely dreadful. It's a shambles. It was shambolic. Oh, I can't think of the words for it, but that XG can't carry on. We can't keep losing and not even going or trying. I've supported Spurs for 37 years, and I've never ever seen a North London derby as dreadful as that in terms of our side of the performance. We've played against the Invincibles. We've played against Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, and that, and we've put in better performances than that. And there's a massive cop-out at the moment where people are saying, oh, the players are not good enough. The players are good enough. Okay, where's this team that beat Manchester City at the Etihad? Where's this team that competed for 85 minutes against PSG? These are all the same players, by the way, that absolutely dominated both of those games. And now they seem to have disappeared. I don't know what's happened. I don't know why it's happening, but it seems to just be happening. And it needs to change fast. And then people say, well, if you don't have Thomas Frank, we can't just get rid of the manager. He needs time. I understand that. I'm not one of these ones that says sack the manager every time there's problems. He does need to address, and he does need to have time to address these problems and actually push forward and start thinking about punishing the opposition or attacking the opposition rather than just trying to defend our own box all the time. How can you have 7 defensive players in a game and still concede 4? It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you said to me, well, who else are you going to bring in? Well, think about Xavi Alonso. He's having massive problems at Real Madrid at the moment, rumors anyway, saying that he's not They don't want him at the club. I don't think they want to work as hard as he's wanting them to work. I think he would be an absolute brilliant manager for us. I think he would get us working hard, get us attacking again. He got Bayer Leverkusen undefeated in the German Bundesliga, by the way, and beat Bayern Munich to the championship. He is a decent manager, but I mean, I'm not saying let's get rid of Frank. I'm just saying there is options out there if you actually wanted to have the options to replace Thomas Frank, because he, at the moment, I'm not seeing any improvement whatsoever. None. I'm not seeing any improvement. I'm not seeing us attacking more. Like when we played against Chelsea, you'd think, right, I learned from that. I'm not doing that again, because they absolutely dominated us. It started with Bournemouth, then Wolves, then Chelsea done it. And now Arsenal done it even worse than all of them. So we're not learning. We're actually getting worse. Now, if I don't see any green shoots of improvement, then I start to get worried. And I don't think it's all necessarily because Frank's a bad manager. I just don't think at the moment the players seem to be playing for him. You know, when they came off against Chelsea and they turned their back on him and they wouldn't shake his hand. And, you know, seeing little things like that, they're all starting to add up now. It doesn't seem like they want to run for him. Thomas Frank was on the sidelines, by the way, saying push up, push forward, press high. He was shouting at them. They were ignoring him. So there is massive concerns that he's not getting the best out of these players. Now, when he was at Brentford, he absolutely, you know, he absolutely got the best out of every single attacking player, the best out of all the midfielders, the best out of his defense. He was, you know, counter-attacking football was brilliant. He was the 5th highest goal scorers in the league. We're not seeing any of that at Spurs at the moment, and it's only been 4 months. We need to give this time, in my opinion, but it's going to be very hard for these travelling Tottenham fans to keep going and watching Spurs not even have a shot and a half in the North London derby, not even having a shot. Now, that is unacceptable. It really is. I go to games, and when you see your team not even trying, it's not easy for the fans to not turn against the manager. It isn't, you know, you can keep saying, stop being negative, stop being negative. You know, you need to, it's only been 4 months. I understand that. And I do believe that if you give any manager a long enough time and give him the players he wants, he can turn it around. I honestly believe Frank could turn this around, but is he going to have enough time? Because if we get whooped by PSG, which is highly likely, by the way, if we carry on playing like this, and then we go to play against Fulham, who we've got a horrific record against Fulham, by the way, and at home, where we've also got a horrific record, by the way. And if we get battered by Fulham and we don't get, we get an XG of 0.17 or something like that, I can't see a future for this manager. It's going to be very, very hard. You can't keep playing like that week on, week out and expect Spurs fans to be behind you. It's very hard. Like, I'm not saying Frank out. I'm just trying to explain why people might want him out. I'm willing to be patient and have time and give him time, and I'm sure he'll turn it around. It's just going to be very, very painful on that road to get there. It really will be. Let me just give you my PSG lineup, and I think something different. We need to do something a lot more different. I think if we go to, let's say, start from the back, Vicario, I think we'll bring Porro back in for that attacking presence. I think Romero and Van der Ven. Romero is going to be suspended for the Fulham game, I think. Udogie in left back again. I think we should play Paulinho again. He won 8 tackles against Arsenal, by the way. People were saying he had a poor game. He was winning the ball back, but he had no one to give it to. Now, Bergvall is a progressive midfielder. I'm not sure what the hell's happened to Bergvall. I know he had that, he got that head concussion and he had to be out for a little while, but he needs more game time. He's such a good midfielder. He can be competitive. He can tackle, but he can also progress the ball. He's so good at it. You know, long balls, short balls. He always plays the ball forward. That's what this team needs. Now, progress it to Xavi Simons. Xavi, when he came on against Arsenal, he was actually a breath of fresh air. He was taking players on. He was playing the ball forward. He actually had 2 shots at goal. That was the 2 of the 3 we had in the whole of the game, by the way. He was taking the game by the scruff of the neck. He was trying to do things. That's what we needed. That's why Bergvall and Xavi should both be playing against PSG. Now, Kudos hardly touched the ball against Arsenal, and neither did Odegaard. We need to get the ball up to them, and Bergvall and Xavi get the ball to them, and they will do things, and they will make things happen. Kolo Muani needs to start for me too. Richarlison scored an absolutely brilliant goal against Arsenal. He's trying to get the Puskas Award by himself. He's done that overhead against Burnley. He scored a 50-yard goal against Arsenal. What else is he going to do next? So praise. I'll give Richarlison praise when it's due. He did score a fantastic goal, but also in the game, he hardly did anything. So, but that's not just Richarlison. That was the whole team. So I'm not just picking on him. But he did show a bit of skill to get us a goal back in the North London derby. Brilliant goal from Richarlison. But I think Kolo Muani needs to start. He's technically better. He's got more skill. He's got more pace. And hopefully he can start finishing chances. Plus, it's against his previous team. So can Kolo Muani play? I can't remember if he's on loan from PSG or Juventus now. I don't know. But if he can play, it'd be Kolo Muani. If not, obviously it's going to be Richarlison, because Tell is not eligible for this game. Now, that's more of attack-minded side. I do not think we should go into the PSG game defensive-minded and try and put 7 defensive players on the pitch, because they'll just open us up. And when they do and they score, we haven't got the players on the pitch then to respond. It just doesn't make any sense to me to go into every game pragmatic. We went into the Wolves game defensive-minded, went into the Wolves game defensive-minded, trying to nullify them rather than trying to pick off what we can do against them. We need to start focusing on us. We need to focus what we can do. And if we show intent and try to score goals, the fans will be happier with that. They will. They will be more happier with that. They really would. Now, let me just finish this on a light-hearted note, something to make you laugh. Michael Mcintyre on why he supported Spurs.
Michael, can I ask you why you were a Spurs fan? Was it parents?
Yes, no, that's something I ask myself every 10 minutes. It's a question I'm familiar with. I write myself notes that say that. Why am I a Spurs fan? Okay, so the mistake was made in 1987. I was 11 years old. Grandstand was on the television. I don't know. Yep. No one in my family followed football. They just said Spurs look like they'll be good this season. I started following them. We actually had a good season. We finished second. Clive Allen scored 49 goals. We got to the final of the FA Cup, and I thought this is going to be a great life. And look at me now, having to invent formats to find some positives.
Brilliant.
Yeah, see? Something light-hearted at the end. That's exactly what we needed. Exactly what we needed. Now, hopefully tomorrow Spurs play against PSG and we put in a performance and we try to score goals. That's all this Spurs fan base is looking for at the moment. We don't want super pragmatic football. We don't want to play super defensive football. We need to focus on what we can do, focus on our strengths, and focus what this Spurs team is capable of, because all these players are not rubbish players. They are good players, and they just need to be played in the right positions and played in an attacking sense, because these attacking players must be getting bored of this defensive mindset. Attacking players hate this kind of mindset. So, you can't go into a game thinking we've already lost. You need to sort it out, and hopefully he does. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's video. Thank you for watching, and come on, you Spurs.